Good morning, everybody. This is the regular business meeting of the Mason County Commission for Tuesday, October 6th. We'll begin with our Pledge of Allegiance. And Jerry, would you please do us the honor of leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
For sure.
I purposely picked the ones that are looking down to another copy.
Pledge
allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner District 1, Randy Netherland.
I'm here.
Commissioner District 2, Tim Sheldon.
I'm also here.
Commissioner District 3, Terry Jeffries.
Here.
Item number 4, correspondence and organizational business. Do we have any correspondence to come before this commission?
We do. The Liquor Control Board sent a special occasion application for North Mason Coalition of Churches and Communities and marijuana objection letters regarding Forbidden Farms. The Port of Greatview sent a letter regarding their comprehensive scheme, and Jim Madden and Melanie Kearns sent a letter regarding voting rules.
Thank you. Item number 4.2, proclamation, National 4-H Week, presented by Kathy Fuller.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning, Kathy.
Thank you for having me. And I will go ahead and read the proclamation that was turned in. Whereas October 4th through 10th, 2015 is National 4-H Week in the United States, and whereas 4-H youth across the nation are leading efforts to solve problems in their communities and make a difference for their future. And whereas 4-H is the largest youth development organization in Washington and the largest in the nation with over 6 million participants. And whereas 4-H in Washington State claims 56,063 youth members and 5,824 volunteers, while Mason County's 4-H program numbers more than 240 members and more than 150 volunteers, and with over 1,400 youth reached through school enrichment programs in Mason County schools. And whereas the Washington State University Extension System conducts 4-H programs with the mission to help young people acquire knowledge, develop life skills, and form attitudes which will help them become self-directing, productive members of society. And whereas 4-H has connected youth and their communities with the innovative research and resources from our nation's 106 land-grant universities and colleges for more than 100 years. Now, therefore, we, the Mason County Board of Commissioners, do hereby proclaim October 4th through 10th, 2015 as National 4-H Week in Mason County, and urge the people of the county to take advantage of the opportunity to become more aware of this special program that enhances young people's interests in their futures as part of Mason County 4-H youth development, and to join us in recognizing the unique partnership between the county and Washington State University. Thank you.
I think that's pretty amazing that you have almost a 1-to-2 volunteer to member ratio, and I think that speaks tremendously of this community and your work
Yeah, we're pretty lucky.
as a coordinator. Congratulations, 4-H Week.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys for your support.
Item number 4.3, news release, Historic Preservation Commission staff, Michael McSims.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
The Mason County Commissioners are seeking applicants to fill 3 open positions on the Mason County Historic Preservation Commission. The major responsibility of the Historic Preservation Commission is to identify and actively encourage the conservation of Mason County's historic resources by initiating and maintaining a register of historic places and reviewing proposed changes to registered properties. They also work to raise community awareness of Mason County's history and historic resources and serve as Mason County's primary resource in matters of history, historic planning, and preservation. The Commission members serve 3-year terms and meet monthly during business hours at the county offices in Shelton. 2 of the open positions expire in November of 2018, and the 3rd position expires in November 2017. For at least one of these open positions, the successful applicant will need to be an accredited historian, archaeologist, or cultural resource specialist with standing in their field. The standard Mason County residency requirements for advisory board memberships are waived in such cases. Interested persons are encouraged to apply for this commission by completing an advisory board form that can be downloaded from the Mason County website, or by calling the Commissioner's office at 427-9670, extension 419, or 275-4467, extension 419. These positions are open until filled. Completed applications should be submitted to the Commissioner's office at 411 North 5th Street in Shelton. If there are questions about this commission, please contact Michael McSems at 427-9670, extension 571. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there any other correspondence or organizational business to come before this body? Thank you. We'll move on to item number 5, which is our open forum for citizens input. This is your opportunity to speak on any issue that is not on the agenda. If it's on the agenda, we ask that you wait and hold off and you'll be given an opportunity to speak at that time. Of course, because time is limited, there's a 15-minute maximum. So we ask that there be a 5-minute per person maximum, but be brief in case others would like to speak. With that being said, is there anybody in the audience who would like to speak on any issue that is not on the agenda? Hearing none, we will go ahead and move on to item number 7, which is the approval of the minutes.
Adoption.
Oh, adoption of the agenda, number 6, not 7.
Mr. Chair, I move that we adopt the agenda as presented.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second the motion to adopt our agenda.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt the agenda as presented. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. The motion carries. Approval of the minutes.
Mr. Chairman, we have some briefing minutes to approve, and I'll move their approval September 14th, 2015, and September 22nd, 2015 is our regular meeting minutes.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded for the approval of the minutes, September 14th, 2015 briefing minutes, and September 22nd, 2015 regular meeting minutes. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye, the motion carries. Item number 8 is the approval of the action agenda. All items listed under the action agenda will be voted upon with one vote. We will go ahead and read to you each of the items that are on the action agenda. Afterwards, you'll be given an opportunity to ask a question that will help you to decide whether or not to have it taken off for a separate vote. If either a commissioner or a citizen wants it taken off for a separate vote, or if you'd just like to testify on any of the items we're about to read, we ask that you just have it taken off for that specific and separate vote. With that being said, I will go ahead and Commissioner Sheldon, if you'll read 8.1 and 8.2. I will read 8.3, 8.4, 8.5, and Commissioner Jeffries, if you'll read 8, 6, and 7.
Mr. Chairman, 8.1, approval of the resolution amending Resolution 62A-92, establishing the Criminal Justice Working Team. And 8.2, approval of warrants, claims clearing fund warrant numbers 802-9002 through 802-9386 in the amount of $305,350.06. Direct deposit fund warrant numbers 25-166 through 25-548 in the amount of $1,208,481.71. Salary clearing fund warrant numbers 700-1310 through 700-1352 in the amount of $1,312,665.34 for a total of $2,826,467.11. Claims clearing year-to-date total is $24,281,662.31. Direct deposit year-to-date total is $11,354,381.53, and the salary clearing year-to-date total $11,858,071.32.
Item number 8.3, approval of the Veterans Assistance Fund applications for food, $300, utilities, $901.34, and housing, $1,600, for a total of $2,801.34 as recommended by the Veterans Service Office. Item number 8.4, approval to set a public hearing for Tuesday, October 27th, 2015 at 6:30 p.m. to review the public comment on the franchise agreement with the Shorebrook Community Club. Item number 8.5, approval to add the Twin First Cemetery located in Belfair, Washington to the Mason County Historic Register.
Item 8.6, approval of the Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, between several counties and the Washington State Department of Health and the Department of Ecology to provide a program to offer loan assistance to citizens in the participating jurisdictions. This program will be known as the Regional On-Site Sewage System Loan Program and will address failing or malfunctioning on-site sewage systems to protect public health and water quality. And finally, 8.7, approval to sign the county's response to the Washington State Auditor findings to 2013-001, 2013-002, and 2014-001.
Excellent, thank you. And with that being read into the record, is there anybody who has any questions that would help them to make a decision on whether or not to have it taken off for a separate vote? Yes,
Why is item 8.7 in italics?
I think it's because it was just added late at the last minute. Any further questions? Is there any items that anybody would like taken off for a separate vote so they can testify, or commissioners, any items?
No.
I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve items 8.1 through 8.7 on today's action agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I'll second the commission, or excuse me, City Commission. I will second the motion to approve all the items on the action agenda today.
Moved and seconded for the approval of the action agenda, items 8.1 through 8.7. As presented, is there any discussion?
I just wanted to let the public know that item 8.1 is basically a cleanup resolution. The resolution we had was originally establishing a criminal justice working team prior to having a legislative mandate for such a thing, and we have a different name for it. And the RCW has been changed quite a bit, so this basically updates our resolution and the operations of the criminal justice working team.
Thank you. Any further?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a comment on that. The reason I said commission, I was just reading through it again. But when was that the original one adopted?
1992, I believe.
92. Okay. Thank you.
Anything further? All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, the motion carries. Item number 9, there are no public hearings today, so we will move on to other business, department heads and elected officials. Are there any department heads out there who would like to speak at this time? Are there any elected officials? I see none. Move on to item number 11, board reports and calendar, please. Who would like to go first?
We're going to break a record here. I'd be happy to. We did not have a commission meeting. It was the 5th Tuesday of the month, and we did not have our regular commission meeting. We did have one of our first budget workshops, I believe it was, on the 28th of September. And then I had a meeting with the staff member who's coordinating our United Way campaign. I'm hoping that we can increase the county's participation. Last year was my first year to try to help it, and we actually decreased it by half, so I'm not sure if I'm a good member of the county to try to do that. There was also a wonderful, wonderful meeting called Graduation Matters on the evening of the 29th, pulled together by Jerry Eckenrode and KMAS, our City of Shelton Police Chief Darren Moody, and our new Shelton School Superintendent Alex Apostle, basically asking, I think, over 60 or 70 community leaders to participate in helping improve our graduation rates in our community all around. And it was a call to action, and I think there was something like 50 people that signed up to say, yes, we will step up and do what it takes. As Dr. Apostle said, it takes a whole community to improve schools and to improve the community. We have to work together, and he had done this in his former position in Montana, and Darren Moody has done the same in his former position in California. So I'm very excited that there's a positive call to action, and Jerry, I appreciate your effort on that as well. So you had a meeting on our integrated watershed plan for the Hood Canal Coordinating Council. I met with former Commissioner Janie Kamen, who's trying to develop an initiative to promote agritourism in the Skokomish Valley area. We had a budget workshop for the Mason Transit Authority, and then on the 1st, I spent most of the day setting up Oyster Fest, and then over the weekend had Oyster Fest. They broke gate records on Saturday of over 10,000 people in their brand new location. A lot of fear that people wouldn't think there would be an Oyster Fest this year, and all those fears can be assuaged. I think this is going to turn out to be one of the largest years ever. And my hat's off to the Scoop and Rotary for pulling together such a phenomenal event in a brand new location with hardly a glitch. I don't think anybody noticed it, if there were any. There was a special commission meeting on Friday the 2nd to approve our commitment to a grant application to promote seaweed production for food and medical purposes and other purposes here in the county. Kind of being an incubator for such a thing, and I'm very excited about that project. And I thank Justin Smith from our WSU Extension for bringing this project forward. And then I attended a State House Committee local government workshop on, they're looking at how they can review the Growth Management Act these many years later. So I think we're on to almost 30 years later. And has it done what it promised to do? There are 14 goals in that act, and you know, did these laws do what they intended to do? Worked at Oyster Fest all weekend, and then we had our briefings yesterday and budget workshops. We will continue budget workshops this afternoon. Tomorrow we'll have a meeting of the North Mason Chamber. Let's see, the North Mason Chamber will host a meeting at North Mason High School, and we'll be able to tour that school. I haven't seen it yet. Have a meeting of the Hood Canal Quarrying Council Outreach Committee, and then another meeting of the Hood Canal Quarrying Council Integrated Watershed Planning. What we're doing is we're trying to choose from and adopt in near-term actions for the next 5 years for the Puget Sound Action Agenda that are specific to Hood Canal. We have a very important meeting, our third of a group of stakeholders working to come up with ideas to create a facility or plan to divert the folks who have substance abuse or mental illness that are brought to the attention of either our deputies and our city police and our emergency room. We really don't have an appropriate place to put these folks. They are not necessarily criminals that need to go to our jail, but it tends to be the last resort. And so we're working through that and coming up, and I think we're pretty darn close to an option. And then the Washington State Association of Counties is having a briefing with legislators throughout the region on county priorities for the 2016 legislative session. And then we're back for briefings on Monday.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Should I go over?
Sure. Let's see, we'll start with last week, as Commissioner Jeffries mentioned, we didn't have a meeting at Belfair on the 5th Tuesday. I had a chance to meet with the mayor, and Mayor Cronster and Shelton had lunch, talked about some of the issues that we wanted to share, and also had a meeting with the Skookum Creek Tobacco out at Salish Cliffs. On the board meetings, they have a new executive director for enterprises at the tribe. I met him, and I think he's a very competent fellow, and will do very well. Spent some time with the Public Power Council down in Portland on Wednesday, I think it was, and also attended the PUD1, the Mason County PUD1's 80th anniversary, which they, of course, the first utility in the state, public power utility, and it was Public Power Week this week as well, so that was kind of happy coincidence for them. So it was a lot of people attending, and we had a special meeting, as Commissioner Jeffries mentioned, on two seaweed issues. I keep saying seaweed issues. Another new processes here, and I think this is going to be a welcome addition to the county. Monday we had our briefings again and talked budget. After this morning, we'll have some other budget discussions, and I'll be over at the Senior Center from 1 to 2. They have a short session for, I think, talking about the new facility, the funds that were appropriated from the capital budget. And tonight I also have a meeting with the Coalition Caucus and other legislators in Tacoma. And let's see, a couple other meetings with local contractors coming up this week. Also want to go out and take a look at the, some constituent issues on Enchantment Drive down below, just above Pretty Cutoff, some land use issues up there. And on Friday, Commissioner Jeffries mentioned a meeting with the Washington State Association of Counties. That's from 10 to 12 at the Public Works Building. Just ask the question, do you know if other entities are invited to, we've had these over the past years where the city will be there and board
This is-
and others?
Yeah, this is specifically for four counties to the legislative bodies of the
Okay.
regions, so it's specifically county issues.
Okay, specifically county issues, okay, because Brad Patterson asked me about that on Mason Transit.
And this is mostly around the fiscal initiative of the Washington State Association of Counties.
Okay,
Anything that might have been added to their legislative agenda.
okay,
By Wausau, for Wausau.
okay. Phil Kitchell, who's a former county commissioner from Clallam County, he's under contract with the county and I think several other counties to take a look at some of the Department of Natural Resources timber issues. How much is being harvested, how much is in rearage is, I think, the term that's used, that's been slated to be harvested but not harvested. And he wanted to meet with me after the meeting, so I think I'll have lunch with him and if our other legislators could join us, that'd be great. So, and then we'll be back here on Monday, the 12th. That's for some a holiday, not for the county. And we'll have our briefings in the morning, budget in the afternoon.
Okay, thank you. Starting early, Alliance of Healthy South Sound meeting, courthouse security. We had several meetings with different investors and people looking to put their properties into trails up in the North Mason area. EDC nominating committee, Farm Bureau panel. They had a panel on some of the different issues the farmers are dealing with, especially when it came to land use and the like. Something I want to share that came out of that I hope that we capitalize on. It seems stupid, but you try to grab the little things that might benefit us. One of the things that I'm going to talk to the EDC about, and hopefully we can start to focus on, is finding what type of waste product we have that should be marketable. To give you an example, farmers, this one in particular, had 30,000 chicken feet that he would bury, 30,000 pounds a year, chicken feet that he would bury, pounds, not feet, a year that he would bury and turn into fertilizer and the like. But now he's got a new company that is now purchasing those 30,000 pounds and making it into different types of gelatin, stock, and the like. And he went from burying this to making $1.75 a pound for chicken feet, 30,000 extra pounds a year. And it made me wonder, how many other things do we have in this community that are considered waste to us that we could maybe bring a business in and help get started, and that would be profitable for them and the other companies. So if you have any ideas, it sounds like an odd thing, but it just seems like an opportunity that if I say it, you never know, you may have the great brilliant thing that might make us a lot of money in the future. So I wanted to share that with you. Also did a dinner with the Farm Bureau in regards to some of the issues they're talking about. And it's funny when you think about regulation and how far it's gotten. This farmer starts talking about how he has this huge chicken farm and how after all these years they come in, they express to him that now his chicken farm must all be completely indoors because the air might be contaminated and and affect the chicken itself. And he found that they actually tested their chickens after they were prepared in the open air compared to doing how they do it manufactured where it's bleached 12 times. I didn't know the chicken was bleached 12 times. And after the bird itself, and after a few days, the germ issues and stuff that are on the ones that were bleached were like 100 times greater than the open air. So he was amazed though that they're considering our air, the open air, as a contaminant in your food. So just some of the things to pass on. And with that, that type of issue came up a little bit later on something else in a different area, but I'll get to that one in a minute. So after that, we have our briefings. We had budget review this week. We had a get together with stakeholders of the West Side Alliance to start to look at what we're going to do for the next legislative session when it comes to our infrastructure and transportation issues, and to make sure that the money that we have already have set out for us doesn't disappear, but also to help take up any slack that may occur if somebody doesn't have a project. We want to be able to pounce on it quickly and collect that money, if possible, into one of our local projects. Women Republican Luncheon. CAPO, Kids That Belongs to Property Owners, had a town hall meeting, and that's what I'm going to bring up the connection with the farmer. Their town hall meeting was on administrative law, the creation of law through administration. For example, in a lot of the laws we face nowadays, you have a situation where it says the director shall create guidelines. And what happens is you create law, or we at a local level, we have staff that makes their interpretation and it becomes law. And these are the things that are affecting our nation, and it came up, and it made me think about the farmer issue, because that particular idea that the air itself is now the contaminant that they have to keep out to start bleaching was a guideline that was not created by the legislature, but created by guidelines from the director. And it's just amazing how those things go. And I know in this county, we actually work pretty hard to try and keep that at a minimum, but in other counties, they do not, and that's why they've invited us down again to speak with them and have different input with some of the things they do out there. Next was the North Mason Awards Night. A couple of coaches were inducted into their new Wall of Fame to go into the new high school. Coach Phil Pugh, which was my coach when I played football for him. I also had the honor of being on the athletic advisory board and the chair of it, and the chair of the hiring panel. I got to hire him back after all those years, and got to hire my own coach. If you don't know if that's an honor, and then here he was inducted into our Hall of Fame. He's also inducted into the National High School Football Hall of Fame, the Washington State Hall of Fame. But our little wall is important. It really is, I guarantee you. As was Coach Ed Amick, who's been coaching wrestling since 1964. And the funny thing is he also is the Washington State Hall of Fame, National Hall of Fame. He's one of the most recognized high school wrestling coaches in the nation. And the funny thing is when he first started, he knew absolutely nothing. He would read a book, and he was telling the story how he would read a book, and his poor wife had to be the one he had experimented on how to do all the moves before he went and taught the kids how to do it. So that was a big night for my community. Then we had Mason Transit Authority budget workshops, which we both attended. Allen Community Association had a beer and brats night where they get together. They're changing their function, how they do things. I hope they find a way to put the two together, because they're moving more towards a social club, where before they used to get a lot done in that community. A lot. I was a port commissioner in Port Allen, and people used to say, how come Allen gets so much? It was because this group of people were putting things together to be put into place. It's a lot easier for a government entity to help you put something in place than it is for them to create it and make it all happen. And that's what happened there, and that's why Allen got so much out of the Port of Allen compared to Belfair, which is also part of the Port of Allen. We had our special meeting on the seaweed. We've had briefings. We've had more budget briefings as well. I had a left board meeting this morning. This next week, after this meeting, we have budget. I have a North Basin Scholarship Breakfast, the EDC Regulatory Subcommittee. I have a meeting with Tim Whitehead and another attorney in regards to some of the lands up in North Mason from the Allen area and whether or not they are vacated by law or not. Parks Board meeting, the EDC Board meeting. I will be doing the annual venture into Hunter Farms. I'm taking my 5-year-old into her little venture to make sure she doesn't get lost in their maze. She's afraid to go this year because she went last year. One of the only times I didn't make it, she got lost in the maze. So now she's afraid to go. So I will be going to make sure I stand up on there and I'll find her. So make sure she's okay. We have the Wasatch Legislative Local Gathering, as was described by both. The Farm Bureau is having their annual meeting, and I am their guest speaker for that as well. The Salmon Hall of Fame, the Wild Salmon Hall of Fame dinner, and then let's see what else I have. There's another park board meeting of some sorts. I got to figure out which one is which. I have a feeling one of them is the Citizens, the creation of that.
Friends
of, yeah. Then we have our briefing and our budgets and back business again the next Tuesday.
I have to mention, in my former life, you talk about chicken feet. In my former life, I used to host international students that would come to the University of Washington. And as payment of me teaching them how to acclimate themselves to the United States, I'd ask them to make me a dinner from, wherever they were from. And a Chinese student was one of my charges, and we went down to the Chinatown and he to buy the ingredients, and he picked up a package of chicken feet. And he said in China they fry them up and eat them like potato chips, so value-added food product there.
Oh, no, I have a 11-year-old son, and my phone got wasted, so I don't have it at this time, but I just still have the chip. I'm gonna try and find that in there. But one of the things I use over his head is that I will take a picture of him eating chicken feet when he was little. I took him to Chinatown and fed him chicken feet. It's the cutest picture you've ever seen. That if he's not a good boy, I'll take that to school, but now I don't have it. So. Anything further coming?
Yeah, one item I want to add to, on the calendar, Wednesday the 14th at 10 a.m. is the Olympic Region Clean Air Agency board meeting, which I won't be able to attend, so.
At 10 a.m.? I'd be happy to.
At 10 a.m. on the 14th. And then I do have down on the 14th, starting at 5 or 5:30, I don't know, Sierra Pacific I believe is going to have a public meeting with the city about the project.
On the 14th as well?
I believe so.
Do you have time?
Yeah, if you
I
could share
had
that
5
with us.
or 5:30 written down, but I got a call from Lisa Perry the other day. And that's what I had written down on my calendar. I was driving, so.
Do you have a location?
No.
If we can find out, because we may both be attending that, whether I attend or not, depends on my wife. My birthday's the 15th, and my wife tells me what I do in those days. I don't have control of my birthday.
The information's on the website, pmmeetings.com.
Is it?
Yeah.
What
We-
is that?
Well, I don't recall.
Oh,
I just
okay.
recall that it is a CW and where they are, there's several things. that-
Okay, so it's a SEPA review.
Okay, I will pull that up as well. Is there anything further to come before the commission? I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I will make the motion to adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
I'll second.
We are adjourned. Have a great day, everybody.